Having too many thoughts swirling around in our heads can often feel overwhelming and messy. When this is the case for me, I feel there's just no other way than pouring out and organizing my thoughts onto paper. It's the only way for me to make sense of any of it all and get a grip on my thoughts. I often break down and write out my whole thought process when I need to get a better understanding of something. Or you probably recognize this when I'm in a meeting and I want to capture and make sense of what is being said. But the way I try to map out and structure my thought process is through visual thinking. I don't use bullet lists or paragraphs of just plain text because it's too linear for me and I can't seem to make any links between thoughts. Visual thinking or sketchnoting or visual problem solving are all terms used in describing this process I use in structuring and making sense of my thoughts. I often get comments from people on my visual thinking process saying they are not creative enough themselves to do this, which I think is nonsense. So in this video, I would like to show you how easy it is and that anyone can do it by implementing just a few visual elements here and there into your existing notes. I am not using a specific technique. I will just walk you through my own super easy process and give you some ideas for getting started yourself. Okay, so personally, I find it inspiring when learning something new when someone walks me through a real life example or scenario. So that's what I'll be doing here as well. Right now, I am working on something for teenagers that will help them with designing their future career path. I have been doing some research already and I've been talking to some teens to understand more about their wants and needs. Which means my mind is pretty packed at the moment with information and thoughts. So my way is to do a brain dump that matches how all this is stored inside my head right now. Scattered and visual. To start somewhere with offloading my brain, I start with drawing a face here. This is Alex and he is a bit of everything. He talks about his love for baking and video games, and one of the things that stood out to me was how focused he was on making good money someday. Moving on to Brie. She is a colorful girl with a big smile and so many ideas. Her passion is fashion, but she worries about not being good enough. She came up with some great alternative ideas for her future during the group brainstorm, but was scared to focus too much on what she would love doing. As you can see, I make use of abstract faces, but I add some personality to them to help remind my brain of what he and she looked like. I use speech bubbles to frame their words and arrows to make connections. I use simple icons that visualize some additional things they said and some lines to emphasize some things that stand out to me. Continuing with Jane and Felix, who are friends but total opposites. Jane is the artsy type and expressed some worries she has for her future since she feels the pressure of expectations. Her parents are pushing her into obtaining a science degree. Felix was very much interested in all things space related, but has no clue what his study options would be and how to choose between all of them. I have added some emotions next to some of the things they said to emphasize how they feel about them and to add some importance to their words. I've used some different types of fonts to help things stand out, and I've added some shadows and textures here and there to make it all look a bit more dynamic. I don't want to get lost in the details of what I'm visualizing because the goal is not to make everything look amazing. The goal is to structure my thought process in a way that makes sense to me and is easy for me to follow. And also which makes it easier for me to see links and connections between everything. But I do make sure everything looks organized so that when I want to communicate my thoughts with someone else, because I need some input or because I want to reflect back some things to the people I have captured thoughts of, it's easy for me to talk through it and have them see links as well. So, to summarize, there is no right or wrong way in doing this. My advice is to keep it as simple as possible when you're just starting out by picking just a few simple shapes to start with. Don't focus on the details, just pick out one item per category from the visual elements library you can make use of. One type of face, one type of speech bubble, one type of connector, etc. And you'll see that by using only a few visual elements, you can make your thought process come to life in a structured and creative way. That's it for now. I hope this has been helpful and I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up. That always means a lot. Thanks so much for watching and I hope to see you again for the next video. Bye!